everyone, Darren here, and on today's episode of WoTC Academy, we're going to look at how to play the Tier 9 American medium tank, the M46 Patton. This tank has had a pretty up and down relationship among the community over the years from what I've seen, with no clear love or hate for it. But in the right hands, this thing is an absolute menace on the battlefield. So let's get started on how to play the M46 Patton. Now, the armor on the M46 Patton is like the rest of the American mediums. It's not fantastic, but it is enough to get the job done, and occasionally bounce some shots when angled correctly or against lower tier guns. The real gem of the armor, though, on this tank is the front of its turret, which, when hulled down, is quite a pain to deal with due to its weird shape and the cone-shaped mantlet that the turret is made to accommodate. This makes it a pain to deal with unless you have a very high pen or large caliber gun. For the rest of the armor, though, the sides, rear, and top of the tank are weaker, of course, and susceptible to RD and HE. Now, in terms of mobility, the M46 is okay in terms of what it can do. With 48 km per hour forward speed and a 20 km per hour reverse speed, you will find yourself ahead of the heavier tanks, but you will fall behind the more speedier mediums that are capable of going above 50 km per hour. Of course, you can also at least reverse out of danger quickly if you find yourself in a bind due to the 20 km per hour reverse speed that I mentioned previously. As for the vehicle's 20% chance of fire, you may want to consider running a fire extinguisher, but you can use food or gas if you wish to do so. Now, in terms of firepower, the M46 has a pretty good gun, I'm not going to lie, with a very good base accuracy of .33, a base reload time of 8.63 seconds, and a very good base aim time of 1.92 seconds. You really won't have a problem aiming in on and hitting your target. As for the very NATO gun depression of 10 degrees and an excellent elevation of 22 degrees, you will have absolutely no trouble fighting in and around ridgelines and hills. Now, how do you set up the M46? Well, I personally run 32 APCR, 22 heat, and 0 HE due to my dislike for non-HESH HE rounds, but you have enough rounds at your disposal to make your own combination. I also run a repair kit, a first aid kit, and a fire extinguisher due to the fire chance, but you can of course run food or gas if you wish to do so. For equipment, I personally run an advanced loader, gun stabilizer, and advanced optics, but you can drop the optics for vents or any other piece of equipment if you wish to do so. For the commander setup, I recommend running the Jack of all trades medium setup I mentioned in my commander video. But for the sake of this video, the recommended skills are the following, and in no particular order: Born Leader, Rapid Loading, Steady Aim, Sixth Sense, Track Mechanic, Situational Awareness, Snapshot, Marked Target, and Run and Gun. Of course, you can set up the commander to suit your preferences. So how do you play the M46? Well, I have found that this tank makes an excellent second line support tank, or in the right hands and in the right conditions, like a hilly environment, capable of being close to or on the front line. Overall, this is a tank you want to try and keep in its element of hills and areas where you can hide your weaker hull and make use of your wonderful turret and good gun. There really is not much to say on this tank that I haven't covered already, but overall the M46 Patton is just one of those tanks that defines the NATO style definition of tank design with its strong ability to play hull down. That does it for this overview. Now let's look at some gameplay. So we are joined here with Sidinator on Sand River. He is actually platooned up with a couple buddies. One of them I actually happen to know. But again, Sidinator is going to be the focus of today's video. It is encounter mode. He is on the northwestern spawn, and this video is going to frankly be a very, very excellent example of how to play this tank. You will kind of see just in like little tidbits that very quickly you'll realize that he does know what he's doing in this vehicle. So we are going to simply go to our desired location. It's not a whole lot to really say, simply because it's just early on the start of the match here. Right away, though, he did get spotted by a light tank, and he's now moving in the direction of the actual riverbed in order to engage anyone in that area. But he's not going to go into the riverbed. He's actually going to kind of ride this this hill, this ridgeline a little bit. But of course, as his teammates, his platoon mates, light things up on the in the actual sand dunes area on the northern half of the map, we're going to see that he's going to just, instead of making any push, hover around and figure out if he needs to push up and help his teammates. And we're going to kind of see that here now, that he is going to be pushing north into this area. He sees that this is pretty much where a strong presence of the enemy is, and this, frankly, is going to be a very good textbook definition of making use of gun depression and dictating your engagement here. So, again, we're just riding up to pretty much a brawling position we all know at this point. And there we go. We're just going to roll up and plop a shot into the Tiger P. Again, forgive me that if I misname a tank when I'm recording this audio. I cannot really see the quality of the video all that well. We did miss a shot in the on the turret of the WWII, and of course the WWII bounced a shot off the turret of the M46. But Sidinator here goes and punishes the WWII for his very peasant-like shot of hitting his turret. Everyone knows if you play the WWII, you need to play like, you know, and play and talk like a very posh, snobby person, because that is how you play a WWII, says YouTube. So here we are. Now we're just going to see that the enemy is trying to get cross shots here, put them into a classic L ambush type of flank maneuver. And, of course, Sidinator, all he has to do to simply protect himself is just make use of this ridgeline and back up a little bit until he goes hull down. And he can continue absolutely punishing his opponents. We can see, though, that he is set up more differently. People of higher skill than who play this game more seriously will have different, more running premium consumables. There we go. We see that we are making very good use of our DPM and tracking and punishing the Tiger P, who gets taken out by some teammates here. But quickly back to the consumables. We can see he's running premium consumables and food, and that food should help him with his DPM and overall his performance in the game, as we can see occasionally that he activates it and he gets that boost in his reload, which could actually come in serious handy situations where you need that extra DPM. Waiting until the Object 704 is fired, he simply just rolls around and puts a shot into the 704, punishing him. The 704 now is a one-shot, probably here thanks to his platoon mate, who I could not tell if he actually fired a shot. 704 simply gets taken out. Again, there was no premium rounds needed there, but he was, just for a split second, considering going into that little dune bowl, but he did realize that the northern section of this portion of the map needed to have some form of response. He still has his two platoon mates alive with him, so he obviously, in communication, is trusting his teammates to handle the situation behind him while he focuses on protecting the northern side of the map. And we can see he's doing a very, very good job of that, punishing the, I believe that is the Nameless, as it tries to pop out and get shots on his enemy. They seem to have backed off a little bit, and so now we're going to flip around and we're going to try and protect our own rear, as our platoon mates here are a little distracted by something else at the moment. Again, assuming here now that communication is back in play, he is going to flip back around, seeing as the hit points on the, I believe that was a friendly IS-2, might have been an IS-3, has just been taken out by an enemy. So now we are predicting that they are going to rush, now that a teammate has been taken out. And, of course, one of his platoon mates has been taken out, signifying, oh crap, I need to turn around and deal with this threat. So one platoon mate down, second platoon mate down, So now it's literally just him here on this flank. He realizes he needs to take the fight to the enemy and is, again, just straight pushing these guys. And we're just putting shots into them here. Now, really, we are just whittling these guys down. Unfortunately, the enemy team is making the mistake of just going at him one at a time, and they also happen to be low health. He did also activate his food consumable, which helped him in those firefights. And, of course, we are now, again, just reverting back into a hull-down gameplay. And we are seeing this as rounds continue to bounce off the turret. The SGA-1 pushes him, and it's not going to go well for him at all because, again, excellent gun and DPM. He just simply spins around, takes minimal damage, and then takes care of the SGA-1. The Chi-Ri here is doing what the best it can as a Chi-Ri, and simply is not going to win this fight. Not much really to say here on this matter, because, again, he's making excellent use of the terrain to remain hull down, dictate his engagement, and we are simply watching the fruits here of exactly what very good skill can do when you know exactly how to make your tank perform. So, again, these tanks are essentially coming at him one at a time, and he is punishing them for it. And, as far as I've seen, he has not had to dip into his premium rounds. Excuse the noise in the background. A box just fell over, if you heard it. So, it is essentially, I'm going to consider this a 1v4 scenario right now. Artie is still in play. Not anymore, it's not. So it is now 1v4. He still, again, has plenty of premium rounds, and he still, I believe he actually has 2 premium rounds here in the in his arsenal. And so now we're just going to literally, again, stay mobile. It is very important to stay mobile and not hole up when you are not a super heavy tank armor type of vehicle. And we're just going to, again, try and remain in our element here, where we can dictate our engagement by making use of the terrain, deciding when we expose ourselves, when we take shots. And that's essentially what Sidinator is trying to do here. Even if he fails, he already has had a very, very good game. There we go. He put a shot right into the top of the M46, other M46's turret, taking him out. He lights this other tank on fire. I could not quite figure out what that is. It might be a Dragon. I can't tell. Again, recording quality is a little bit bad right now. Catches him on fire and eventually takes him out. Now the 1v4 has gone down to a 1v2. And now it's just playing the game of where hide and seek. The enemy team does know where he is, or at least where he was. Sidinator does not really have that luxury or that information for the artillery and the, I believe it is a heavy tank as well. So, there we go. Artie does get spotted. Simply takes him out. No need for an HE round. No need for a premium round. But he does swap to a premium round because, I mean, it is a heavy tank at the same time. I have not seen him actually go and check what the heavy tank is, but hey, now we know where the heavy tank is. It's a Carnarvon, and he is capping the base. Thankfully, Sidinator is not spotted, so he's simply just going to use his heat rounds and go right into the lower plate, or in this case now, the upper plate of the Carnarvon, and essentially this fight is now over. I really have nothing else to say on this game. As we can tell, this has been a very, very excellent game by Sidinator. And if he even just lost in this 1v4 scenario, the engagement that he had up in the northern part of the map was already fantastic, to the point that he probably could have walked away, content with himself. I know I would have been in that situation. But he does take care of the Carnarvon, winning the game. And we're about to see just how much damage he did to the enemy team. He did, I believe that is 10 kills and over 10k combined if we go and look in the post-battle results screen. And that concludes today's video. I'd like to thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this one, don't forget to subscribe. But until next time, this has been Darren. of WoTC Academy.